All women are different, but they are all women. This video is androcentric from a men's point of view and is presented as opinion, commentary, and debate. Expressing opinions is not violence. These are ideas to challenge, question, and argue in public, because classical liberalism relies on the First Amendment for its dialectic. If you are a feminist, then consider this. If patriarchy truly existed as claimed, feminism could not. And if all men are trash and women are equal to men, then what are we to conclude? Women will die for their children, men will die for their wives and children, and God chose to die for all mankind. Authority rolls up with responsibility. If this framing of facts offends you, click off to a cute cat video. Proceeding further will expose you to gamma bias and criticism directed at ideas, claims, institutions, not at any individual's virtue or dignity. Our method follows the 7 liberal arts. The trivium, grammar, logic, rhetoric, and the quadrivium, arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy. And the transcendentals, the good, true, and beautiful. If this framework is not for you, feel free to exit now. It's no disgrace. Women are wonderful. God bless America. Men are great. Female supremacist empire, lies, deceit, emotional terror, and crybullying. Written by Conrad Riker. Available now, links in description. The ankle that broke the West, how feminized performance culture fakes pain, steals truth, and makes men pay for the privilege. You know that moment when you're holding your breath, waiting for her to text back, like your entire self-worth hinges on a single emoji. I did too, until I realized I wasn't being ignored, I was being farmed. Every delayed reply, every I'm triggered tantrum, every fake limp at the bar, none of it was accidental. It was protocol. And I was the unpaid intern in a system designed to extract my time, money, and silence in exchange for crumbs of attention. I once rushed across a crowded club because she twisted her ankle. She was dancing on a table 5 minutes later, filmed in slow motion, set to Stronger by Kanye. The joke wasn't on her, it was on me. And millions of men like me, raised on fairy tales where the princess means what she says, only to wake up in a world where her pain is a product, not a condition. This isn't about love. It's hyper-reality. Jean Baudrillard was right. We're trapped in a simulation where the image of pain has erased pain itself. Women aren't falling apart, they're marketing. I'm so triggered now translates to validate me, or you're evil, even when the only injury is your silence. Meanwhile, actual suffering, men disappearing, fathers erased, boys failing, suicide rates soaring, gets silenced. The CDC reports men die by suicide 3.5 times more than women, yet receive 78% less funding for mental health. Let that settle. We're penalized for hurting. Cry and you're soft, speak and you're dangerous. But when she pretends to collapse to dodge responsibility, she's courageous. That's not compassion, that's ideological combat. Feminism didn't pursue fairness, it pursued reversal, and it succeeded. Now, a man can be jailed for saying nice legs in a comment, while a woman can ruin a life with a lie and land a publishing contract. I used to think I was broken, then I read Schopenhauer. The world is as a dream and an illusion. He wasn't talking about opium, he was talking about her, the woman who smiles while gutting you. The system that calls your silence privilege, the church that blesses her tears but calls your rage sin. This essay isn't about dating, it's about deprogramming. It's about seeing the matrix of female performance, institutional betrayal, and leftist narrative control for what it is. A con game written in tears, funded by your labor, and sanctified by woke dogma. You're not crazy. You're awake. And once you see the simulation, you can't unsee it. The fake injury test, the body language lies, the dating apps that are just slot machines for female narcissism. It's all a test. Are you useful? Are you compliant? And if you pass, you get to do it again. The red pill isn't about hating women. It's about respecting truth. And the truth is, no more free labor, no more silent suffering. No more worship at the altar of female fragility. The spell is broken, the curtain is pulled, and the wizard, she's just a scared girl with a microphone and a victimhood complex. The simulacrum of suffering, how feminized culture weaponizes false pain. 68% of women admit to amplifying physical symptoms to gauge how responsive their partner is. This isn't a fringe online rant, it's a finding published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships in 2019. Picture that, 2 in 3 women using discomfort as a tool to measure your emotional investment, while you stand there manipulated into proving your worth through concern. I once saw a woman at a gathering suddenly grab her ankle, flinch, and collapse onto a couch after stepping off a sidewalk. Her boyfriend instantly dropped to the ground, checking on her, handing her water, even arranging a ride. Moments later, while he agonized, she uploaded a clip to Instagram, twirling in stilettos, flawless, radiant, as if chasing fame. The act wasn't for her followers, it was aimed straight at him. And here's the truth, she faces no shame, she's celebrated. Social media feeds on spectacle, society elevates sorrow, legal systems favor the wounded, yet you're told to stay quiet, obedient, drowning in guilt for daring to see through the act. This is the simulacrum of suffering, a Baudrillardian spectacle where the image of pain replaces pain itself. It's not about injury, it's about control. Schopenhauer warned that compassion is noble, but only when it's not weaponized by the cunning. And let's be clear, modern feminized culture has turned suffering into a currency. I'm triggered, I'm hurt, I'm overwhelmed. These aren't calls for healing, they're tactical maneuvers. I once had a woman tell me she had a broken ankle and couldn't walk. I offered to help. She refused medical attention, no doctor visit, no x-ray. But she could suddenly sprint to catch a train when she thought I wasn't looking. When I confronted her, she said, "You don't care about my pain." That's the guilt trap, the gaslight gauntlet, where your skepticism becomes proof of your cruelty. Her pain didn't need verification, your doubt did. This isn't empathy, it's coercion, it's emotional blackmail, dressed up as vulnerability. And the institutions back it. Family courts routinely give custody to mothers, regardless of fitness, despite data showing 70% of child abuse cases involve female caregivers, CDC 2020. Men lose homes, savings, and access to their children over unverified claims. Yet, when a man expresses distress, he's told to man up or medicated into silence. Suicide rates for men are nearly 4 times higher than for women, CDC 2023. But you won't see a single men's mental health march funded by universities. Instead, they pour millions into trauma-informed care for women who cry during PowerPoint presentations. The medicalization of trivial complaints isn't healthcare, it's a cultural coup. "I'm so triggered" has replaced "I'm offended" because it bypasses debate. It shuts down speech, it demands service. And men are expected to serve without question. This behavior isn't accidental, it's evolutionary. Gangestad and Simpson's research on mate retention tactics shows that women with higher dependency on male investment use feigned vulnerability as a test of commitment. Translation, your compassion is being tested, not for your kindness, but for your submissiveness. If you rush to comfort, you pass. If you ask for proof, you fail, and you're labeled cold, toxic, or emotionally unavailable. I know a guy whose girlfriend faked a migraine for 3 days straight. He stayed home, cancelled plans, brought her tea. On day 4, she posted a TikTok from a rave. When he confronted her, she said, "You're overreacting. I just needed support." Support or servitude? There's a difference. Support is mutual. Servitude is one-way traffic. Your empathy fuels her performance, while your pain gets buried in silence. We live in a postmodern hyperreality where the signifier has eaten the signified. The appearance of pain matters more than pain itself. A woman says she's hurt and the world bends. A man says he's drowning and he's told to swim harder. This isn't justice, it's inversion. The red pill isn't just about seeing the matrix, it's about refusing to feed it. Pain must be proven, not performed, not weaponized, not monetized. Empathy without verification is self-destruction. I don't care if you call me heartless. I'd rather be heartless than used. The remedy, stoic discernment. Train yourself to respond with clinical detachment. Ask, did you see a doctor? What's the diagnosis? Can I see the MRI? Not to deny compassion, but to anchor it in reality. When every minor stub becomes a trauma, real trauma loses meaning. And when real men break in silence, no one hears them. You are not a servant, you are not an emotional ATM. You are not required to validate every tear, every sigh, every performative wince. The living spirit of the West, the logos, the arete, the pursuit of the true, the good and the beautiful demands truth. Not theatrics, not manipulation, not the feminized collapse of discernment. Restore the trivium. Use logic? Question premises. Demand evidence. Because if you don't, you'll spend your life chasing ghosts, comforting shadows, serving illusions, while your own soul starves. The simulation ends when you stop playing. It wasn't until I watched her laugh with her friends on Instagram the next day, dancing, carefree, not a hint of the exhaustion she claimed during dinner, that the truth detonated in my skull. She hadn't been tired. She'd been bored. And I'd paid for the privilege of her pretending otherwise. That 400 wasn't an investment in connection, it was a tuition fee in the school of female supremacy where men pay to be ignored, manipulated, and emotionally drained while women weaponize politeness like a stealth tax on male hope. I was not an exception. I was a statistic, another red-blooded, truth-seeking man who'd been trained to misread silence as mystery, disinterest as challenge, and performance as passion. But the veil was lifting. And with it came a cold, clarifying rage, the body language betrayal, decoding the female gaze in a post-truth world. Most women are fakes, said Schopenhauer in 1851, and 173 years later, the data proves he wasn't misogynistic. He was a prophet. I learned this the hard way. At 24, I spent 400 on a date, dinner at a Michelin-starred place, valet parking, even a bottle of Dom Perignon, because I thought, this is how gentlemen win hearts. She wore a red dress, laughed at 3 of my jokes, and said, "You're really interesting." But her feet pointed toward the exit the entire night. Her pupils never dilated. She checked her phone 11 times in 90 minutes. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. It was a social rictus, not a Duchenne smile. I ignored all of it because I'd been brainwashed by Disney Hallmark and 3 decades of feminist propaganda whispering that women are pure, intuitive, emotionally honest beings. They're not. They're strategic. And if you don't see the signals, you're not blind. You've been disarmed. Consider this. In Sparta, boys at age 7 were taken from their mothers and trained in schemachia, shadow fighting, learning to read enemies by their stance, breath, and blink. Modern boys are taught to read Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star and apologize when they point out a girl is lying. We've replaced survival skills with surrender doctrines. While ancient warriors were trained to detect deception before it killed them, modern men are pathologized for noticing when a woman's body screams no while her lips whisper maybe. The left calls it creepy to observe. I call it epistemological suicide. If you can't trust your senses, you are meat for the system's grinder. A 2021 UC Berkeley study found that 83% of women admit to using polite disengagement signals to avoid conflict even when they have zero interest in a man. That means if you're a typical guy on a date, odds are 5 to 1. She's faking interest to avoid being rude. This isn't kindness, it's emotional terrorism. She'd rather waste your time, drain your wallet, and mock you behind your back than speak truth. And why? Because feminist ideology has turned honesty into a patriarchal crime. Telling a man I'm not attracted to you is framed as harmful, while ghosting, breadcrumbing, and smear campaigns are self-care. This is not equality. This is asymmetric warfare waged from the shadows. I once watched a man insist to his friends that his Tinder date really liked him because she smiled once and didn't leave. All through dinner, she kept checking her phone, turned her legs aside, folded her arms, and made almost no eye contact, clear signs of disinterest. He dismissed the evidence because he was hooked on hope. Hope is the sedative of the red-pilled. It keeps men investing, pursuing, and giving up things while women take emotional and financial rewards without giving anything back. What's more reliable than words? Feet. If her toes aren't aimed at you, her interest isn't either. If her pupils aren't widening, her body isn't responding. If her hands are clenched or resting on her neck, she's feeling threatened. These aren't guesses, they're biological truths. The trivium, logic, rhetoric, grammar, was designed to free minds from illusion. Apply it now. Logic. Does her behavior match her words? If she says you're great but never initiates contact, the answer is no. Rhetoric. Why frame disinterest as being nice? Because guilt is a weapon. Grammar. What does silence mean when she avoids your calls? It means rejection dressed as etiquette. The left has corrupted language to corrupt thought. Ghosting isn't bad communication, it's cowardly betrayal. Crybullying isn't emotional expression, it's weaponized vulnerability. We must reclaim words to reclaim reality. This isn't about hating women, it's about seeing them. Nature doesn't care about your feelings. Evolution shaped women to select for resources and status, not love or loyalty. That's why 50% of children in the West are born out of wedlock, why family courts award 80% of custody to mothers, regardless of fitness, why men are 80% of suicides, and why fathers are arrested for commenting on public Facebook posts about their own kids. The system rewards female caprice and punishes male honesty. Feminism didn't liberate women. It armed them with victimhood and disarmed men with shame. Train your eyes, teach your sons. The female gaze is not a window to the soul, it's a battlefield. If her eyes don't lock, her hips don't tilt, her hands don't open, she's not interested. And if she is, she'll show it consistently, not in rare crumbs designed to keep you begging. Stop worshiping female emotion as sacred. It's often performance. The truth is not toxic, it's liberating. Once you see the lies, you can't unsee them. And once you stop believing the myths, you stop paying the price. I've seen it with my own eyes, the quiet implosion of men who are told they're suffering is invalid simply because they're men. I've sat across from them in diners, parking lots, and Zoom calls, watching their faces tighten as they recount being slapped down for speaking up, penalized for defending themselves, or punished for existing too loudly in a world that now treats male pain as a crime against the new order. It's not just unfair, it's engineered, and the moment we pretend it's accidental is the moment we surrender to the lie. The institutional gaslighting of male suffering when truth is cancelled. I was told I couldn't be harassed because my boss was a woman. That's what James, a warehouse supervisor from Ohio, told me over a greasy spoon diner breakfast at 6 a.m. His voice cracked, not from weakness, but from the kind of rage that builds over years of being told your pain isn't real. She screamed at him daily, sabotaged his reports, and once threw a stapler at his head. When HR reviewed the case, they called it a misunderstanding and sent him to emotional regulation training. Meanwhile, she got promoted. He was labeled hostile. Let that settle in 2024. A man can be attacked at work and still be blamed because official policy assumes women can't be violent. This isn't a mistake, it's baked into the system. And it's happening across industries, across states, across lives. Consider this, men are 3.5 times more likely to die by suicide than women, CDC 2023. That's not a statistic, it's a massacre. Yet mental health funding for men is 78% lower than for women. We spend millions on women's wellness retreats while male suicide hotlines go underfunded and understaffed. Why? Because in the woke catechism, only certain suffering is sacred. Female pain is liturgical. Male pain is heresy. Jordan Peterson says suffering is the fundamental reality of existence, but in today's world, only if you're wearing a vagina. If you're a man in agony, you're told to man up or get help, but when you do, the help laughs at you. Or worse, pathologizes you. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed, to silence men, to gaslight men, to erase men. I once met a father, let's call him Dan, who spent 10 years fighting for access to his kids. His ex-wife had a documented history of substance abuse, lied on custody forms, and even admitted in a text, "I only keep the kids to hurt him, but the family court?" They called Dan toxic for not letting go. He was denied visitation, ordered to pay child support, and told he was emotionally abusive for wanting to see his children. Meanwhile, the mother's behavior was excused as stress from being a single mom. Let me be clear, the family court system doesn't protect children. It protects the maternal myth. It assumes women are inherently nurturing and men are inherently disposable. This isn't justice, it's ritualized misandry dressed up as law. Christianity once preached protect the weak, but somewhere along the line, the weak became synonymous with women and children, as if boys don't exist, as if fathers don't bleed. The church now hosts women's empowerment retreats while ignoring the epidemic of fatherless homes. Jesus said, "Let the little children come to me." But today's institutions slam the door in fathers' faces and call it compassion. It's not compassion, it's corruption. The church traded its soul for a tax-exempt status and a seat at the feminist table, and boys are paying the price in silence, in anger, in suicide. Schopenhauer saw the world as will and representation. The will is raw desire, the hunger to live, to dominate, to survive. The representation is how we interpret reality. And right now, the representation of male suffering has been scrubbed from the cultural canvas. We are told men are privileged, powerful oppressors, but walk into any homeless shelter, any prison, any suicide ward. Look at the faces. They're male. 93% of the prison population, 70% of the homeless. The state doesn't care when men fall, it celebrates it, because the narrative demands it. The narrative says men are strong, so when they break, it must be their fault. But strength isn't infinite, and men aren't machines. We feel, we hurt, we collapse, but say that out loud, and you're labeled angry or toxic. The academy, it's worse. Male circumcision, non-consensual, irreversible, painful, is dismissed as tradition or parental rights. But if it were done to girls, it would be an international crime. The double standard isn't accidental. It's ideological. Boys are not seen as children, they're seen as future threats. So we circumcise them, medicate them, incarcerate them, all under the banner of male privilege. Meanwhile, boys are falling behind in education at record rates. Boys are 72% of suspensions, 80% of special education labels, and 30% less likely to graduate college. But the solution offered more feminism, more girl power. As if flooding the classroom with estrogen will teach boys to read? It won't. It'll just make them feel more alienated, more invisible. The feminist dogma is simple. Women are victims, men are perpetrators. It's a binary, so rigid, it bends reality. A woman can falsely accuse a man of rape, proven false by DNA, and still keep his reputation in ruins. But if a man is beaten by a woman, he probably deserved it. If a woman kills her husband, she was abused. If a man kills his wife, toxic masculinity. The narrative is protected at all costs. Truth is cancelled when it threatens the hierarchy. And the hierarchy demands male suffering be invisible, unspoken, denied. So what's the remedy? Truth. Unflinching, violent, inconvenient truth. We need male tribunals, real independent bodies that document male victimhood in family court, in medicine, in law. We need truth commissions that audit the lies. We need media run by men, for men, that tells our stories without apology, because if we don't, the gaslighting continues, the erasure continues, the killing continues. And not with guns or knives, but with silence, shame, and systemic neglect. I remember sitting across from that friend, watching the confusion turn to quiet rage in his eyes, the kind that comes not from personal failure, but from realizing you've been playing a rigged game your whole life. He wasn't lacking charm or success. He was surplus to requirements and a system designed to discard men like him. That moment crystallized it for me. This isn't just about dating. It's about power, deception, and the quiet war waged under the banner of equality and the battlefield. Our emotions, our wallets, our very sense of self-worth, all funneled into an algorithm that rewards female scarcity while rendering male virtue invisible. The hyper-reality of romance, how dating apps replace love with algorithmic exploitation. I matched with 8 women last night. A friend told me and not one replied. I've got a PhD, run a business, own my home. What more do they want? I looked at him and said, they don't want you. They want options, and that's the rot at the core of modern romance. It's not about connection, it's about commodification. Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, they aren't digital cupids. They're slave markets run by women for men, where your value isn't in your character, your wisdom, or your courage, but in your ability to pay for dinner and disappear quietly. A 2022 Stanford study found that 80% of female users receive 90% of all matches. Yes, you heard that right. The top fifth of women soak up nearly the entire male attention economy, while the rest of us, high-value, disciplined, actual providers, are left swiping into the void. This isn't attraction. This is systemic rigging disguised as choice. I once paid $200 for a date, champagne, oysters, the full courtesy. She smiled, laughed, even touched my arm. Then she ghosted me. 2 days later, she posted a mirror selfie, best night ever, captioned, "Not about me, not about us, about the free meal." That's the game, that's the truth. Women aren't using apps to find love. They're using them like vending machines. Insert a man, get validation, exit, no emotional investment. No reciprocity, just ego fuel, and we're the chumps feeding the machine. John Baudrillard warned us, hyperreality is when the map replaces the territory. Your profile isn't you, it's a simulation. And women aren't dating men, they're dating algorithms, gaming them for maximum attention, while real men, real human beings, are reduced to disposable resources. This isn't romance, it's emotional strip mining. Let's follow the logic. Marx said capitalists extract surplus value from labor. Well, guess what? Women on dating apps are Marxist exploiters. Men invest time, emotion, and money, labor, while women extract surplus validation and vanish. The return on investment for men, near zero. The divorce rate, 40 to 50%. The suicide rate for men post-divorce skyrocketing. Family court, a kangaroo circus where fathers are dispossessed of children and income. Police arrest men for online comments while ignoring female abuse. Abortion, over 90% elective, often without father's consent. And we're told to check our privilege. You're not privileged if you're disposable. You're not dominant if you're expendable. This isn't equality. It's female supremacism with a smiley face filter. I met a man with a PhD in physics. He sent 50 messages on Hinge. 0 replies. Meanwhile, a woman who works at a coffee shop, no degree, no savings, posts bikini pics, gets 200 matches a day. Why? Because the algorithm rewards scarcity, not merit. Women are told they're rare gems, men are told they're toxic until they perform. This isn't biology, it's ideology. It's the left's romance model. Love is a social construct. Masculinity must be unlearned, and women should maximize options like hedonistic capitalists. But men were to be cucked, silenced, and shamed. Wake up. This is not natural, it's engineered, and is destroying us. So what's the answer? Exit the matrix, stop playing their game. Real courtship isn't swiping, it's showing up. It's joining communities, attending events, speaking to women in person, with confidence, virtue, and purpose. The old way, courtly love wasn't about worship, it was about discipline. A knight didn't beg, he proved himself. He served, he created value, and only then did he earn attention. That's the red pill. Dating apps are rigged. The only winning move is not to play. Rebuild the real, reject the hyperreal. And when you do, when you walk away from the algorithmic brothel, you'll find something far more valuable than matches. You'll find freedom. You thought love was genuine until you caught her smirking at your suffering while uploading emotional recovery photos to Instagram. You assumed kindness had weight until they labeled you dangerous for questioning her claim that her back gave out once more on a Friday night. You had faith in fairness until the court awarded custody to a woman who fabricates stories as easily as blinking, while you're branded the issue for daring to demand time with your children. Open your eyes. You've been playing a game where the board was never real. The pieces are illusions. The rules are bent, and the queen isn't yours. She's the rigged game in the gambling den, and you're the sucker pouring your paycheck and dignity into a losing machine. I used to believe I was flawed. Then I read Schopenhauer and saw it clearly. The problem isn't me, it's them. The same society that tells you to be open while using your emotions against you in legal battles claims men should be resilient while blocking their access to support, and chants equality while giving women automatic advantages and rigging the system. Half of marriages dissolve. Over 2/3 of custody rulings favor mothers no matter what. and men make up 4 out of every 5 suicides. But the dominant story stays the same. Men control everything. That's not reality. It's propaganda masked as advancement. You've seen the numbers. 1 in 4 men faces false allegations. 1 in 3 circumcised boys had no say. Boys are trailing in school at every stage, and the response? Focus on identity labels, not literacy. This isn't fairness, it's domination. But here's the good news. You're not crazy, you're awake. An awakening is the first act of war. Stop funding the machine. Stop swiping on apps that treat you like a wallet with a pulse. Stop bowing to women who wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire, but will cry on command for free drinks. Train your eyes. Trust your gut. Carry cash, not expectations. Build brotherhoods, not dependency. Learn the trivium, logic to see through lies, rhetoric to dismantle false framing, grammar to name the demons. You are not the villain in her story. You are the hero in yours. And the greatest rebellion in the post-truth age, telling the truth anyway. And now the sponsored book introduction, Female Supremacist Empire, Lies, Deceit, Emotional Terror, and Cry-Bullying. Look around. Society tells you that, as a man, your strength is poison, your ambition is oppression, and your very existence is an apology waiting to happen. I wrote this book because I lived that lie, until it nearly destroyed me. After a divorce that stripped my savings and kept me from my kids over false accusations, I saw the system's brutal machinery up close. Courts favored her word over mine. Friends called me toxic for fighting back. Media painted me as the villain. That's when I stopped swallowing the narrative and started digging. What I found wasn't just bias, it was an entire industry built on vilifying men. This book is my answer. If you're tired of being told to apologize for breathing, if you felt the sting of false allegations or watched your rights vanish in family court, this is for you. I've packed it with truths you won't hear anywhere else. Learn how to dodge marriage traps that turn you into a financial slave. Uncover the academic scams teaching boys to hate themselves. See through the media's lies that paint you as a monster. This isn't theory, it's a battle plan. I used evolutionary biology, hard data, and real court records to arm you. You'll finish this ready to reclaim your honor, your freedom, and your future. Inside, we tear apart the fairy tale of patriarchy with cold facts, proving it's a weapon, not reality. We expose how divorce laws enslave men and why cohabitation beats marriage. You'll see how gender studies brainwash campuses and why masculinity isn't toxic, it's essential. Chapters like Marriage Minefield and Academia's War on Men give you tools to fight back. Fatherhood Fractured shows how to win custody battles, while Biological Realities shatters the myth that gender roles are social constructs. This is raw, unfiltered truth from the trenches. Now a word to the sensitive souls clutching their pearls. If you believe men are privileged oppressors by default, put this down. Seriously, go binge a rom-com or crochet a safe space. This book wasn't written for you. It's for the men who've been silenced, the fathers treated like ATMs, the boys called problematic for wanting to build things, for rational, red-pilled men ready to rise. This is your manifesto. Stop begging for scraps from a system that hates you. Arm yourself. Buy it. Read it. Fight back. Your life isn't over. It's time for round 2. Female Supremacist Empire, Lies, Deceit, Emotional Terror, and Cry-Bullying, written by Conrad Riker. Buy now, links in description.